Hi. I want to talk about and share with you the exact process that I use to help my clients create magnetic messaging that makes you memorable and gets you paying clients that you love. Now, if we haven't met or you're new up in here, my name is McCallister, the founder of Life with Passion, and I am the author of the best-selling book, The Income Replacement Formula, 7 Simple Steps to Doing What You Love and Making 6 Figures from Anywhere. And I'm a coach for high achievers who want to replace their income and then some by building a business that they love. And I was working with a client this morning on creating his messaging for his new business. And we walked through this exact process and I thought, oh my gosh, I want to share it with all of you. So how do you create messaging in a very simple way? Doesn't have to feel overwhelming. That makes you memorable, that helps you to stand out, that helps your potential clients, customers know that you're the person for them. It requires you talking to people. Sorry, not sorry. If you don't want to talk to people, then you don't have a business. So let's just get that out of the way right now, right? The good news is, I don't care what your personality is, you can learn to talk to people and do that in a way that feels good, even if you have anxiety like me, even if you're an introvert like me, even if you have social anxiety, even if you have, I don't know, what you think is a weird accent, or any of the reasons why you tell yourself that you can't talk to people. Now, this doesn't mean going to networking events. I'm not a big fan of those. What it does mean is doing what I call, I didn't make this up, relationship marketing, right? Talking to people like a human and being willing to listen to what they have to say. So if you have, let's say you don't know exactly what you want to be focusing on to sell right now. Let's say maybe you don't even have a package or an offer to sell, or maybe you do, but you're not exactly sure how to sell it, how to create that messaging, how to create that marketing that's going to make people be like, oh yeah, I need what she has. I want to talk to her. Where I recommend that you start is here. I recommend that you think about the people, the type of person who you would love to work with. So this may be your best friend. It may be someone in your family. It may be somebody, in a Facebook group where you like to hang out, like mine, where everyone's awesome. It could be anyone that you already have some kind of a relationship with. I recommend you start with existing relationships because that's where you're going to be comfortable, as opposed to talking to strangers, right? This is kind of the whole point, is creating messaging that's going to make you magnetic to those strangers, right? So what I would say is this. I want you to reach out to some people, which I know can feel totally scary, but I want you to have some honest conversations where you basically interview them and find out what they're dealing with, find out what their goals are, and then take notes like a mad woman, all right? So when I did this exercise, I interviewed my best friend. I interviewed another friend who I knew hated her job. I interviewed, listen, it's not very hard to find people who hate their jobs. I think it's the statistic is 80% of American workers are dissatisfied in some way with their job. But I would say that the same is true for you. What people in your life who you really actually enjoy and are the kind of person who you would want to work with, would you be willing to interview? And you can even say, hey, I'm doing this thing, I've got this assignment, I'm working on this for my business. And just set it up in that way so that people don't feel like it's a weird salesy call. Is she going to spring something on me at the end? We've all been on the wrong end of that, right? Awkward, gross. And you're not going to be that person. You're just going to say, hey, I really want to understand, I have this assignment, doing this thing. I really want to understand, would you be willing to answer some questions for me about, your biggest struggle with XYZ right now, and what are your goals there, right? So the client I was working with this morning is great at setting up IT systems to make small businesses' lives easier, right? To free up time, to automate. And so we talked about, hey, what's the major pain point of small businesses? Making more sales, right? Having time to make more sales when you are a small business owner who is doing all of the things that are required to run a business, right? In addition to the thing that actually makes you money, right? So your accounting and maybe your payroll if you have employees, and your marketing and your sales and your accounting and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? All of these things. And here's the thing. The reason that we hear those scary statistics about why small businesses fail within a year, within 5 years, is mainly because people stopped working doing the thing that they love that made them money. Like, let's say, okay, example is like, let's say that you are, well, let's say you're a coach, right? But you get so bogged down in doing the stuff that you couldn't or wouldn't delegate for whatever reason that you don't feel like you have the time to take on more clients as a coach. Therefore, you don't make as much money. Therefore, it feels hard. Therefore, you burn out. Therefore, you quit, right? And usually we don't identify that that's why we quit, or that a business owner would identify that that's why they quit, but it is, if you really dig down into it. And so what we were talking about is this, okay, so that's the pain point of this person. What we don't know yet for my client is which of the systems do business owners want to delegate first, the type of business owner that he works with. Which do they want to delegate first? That's where he's going to get on the phone. That's where he's going to get on the phone with some present clients or some people who he knows that are, in business for themselves, that are the kind of person he would want to work with, right? A great question to ask yourself is if I had 10 of this person as a client, would I be thrilled? Or is it just somebody I'm feeling obligated to talk to for whatever reason? Because your job with this messaging is not to include everybody, right? It's not to include everybody. You do, however, need to be seen in order to be successful. Boom, hashtag tweet that. You have to be seen in order to be successful. And so this is a very safe feeling way for you to start to be seen without your brain freaking out and going, oh my gosh, I can't do a live stream, or oh my gosh, what are they going to think of me, or strangers, right? Talk to somebody that you already know. I know it might sound too simple to be true. Talk to somebody who you already know, or a few somebodies who you already know, about their struggles around your thing, about their struggles around your thing. You will know these people because your thing is something that you eat, sleep, and breathe, right? Whether it's something that you have come in from corporate using, or whether it's something you're really passionate about, whatever the reason, you already know people in your life who are dealing with this, right? And if you don't, post in a Facebook group where you hang out and ask people, right? I'd love for you all to say hello in the comments and let me know what questions that you have around this so I can really customize this training for you, whether you're watching live or on the replay. So the first thing is to talk to people about their struggles, right? You're starting a VA business. What the heck do people even want to delegate? I would like for you to find that out so that you can write some content around that. So you talk to someone who, if you're starting a VA business, you talk to someone who is a solopreneur, or maybe who even has a VA, who's made that leap, and who ask them what they most need delegated and why that matters to them, right? And what their goals for working, for delegating are. Is it to make more sales? Is it to have more time? Is it to be able to scale? Is it, where are they going to be focusing their attention? Because now you know the dream, right? If I could delegate this thing, then I have the mind space and the time to do this thing, whether it's spend more time with my kids or write a book or take on more clients. What is that thing for them? You want to know, and you want to use their words to then turn around and write posts or do live streams to that point, right? So, example for me, I know that my clients, People who are good fits for me come in feeling overwhelmed. They need a clear plan. They also are feeling a lot of fear and self-doubt. I feel like I have some mascara under my eye. Sorry. Maybe it's just the actual mascara under my eye where it's supposed to be. They have fear and self-doubt. They're feeling really overwhelmed. And what they need is a freaking clear plan and the support and accountability to stop procrastinating, stop feeling overwhelmed, and make it happen and make some real money around here, right? So my job is to show up and be myself and talk about the things that are related to that. And how do I know? Because I hear it all the time, right? So this is not about reinventing the wheel or it needing to be some mystical, magical thing. I'll tell you what else it's not about. Grabbing someone else's copy or template and trying to force your voice into that. I'm going to be honest with you. I've done that before. I think we all have. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for like swipe files, like keeping a folder in your email of like emails that you thought were really great or that inspired you or like were a great example of something for you. But what doesn't work, totally confessing that I have done this before, is like grabbing someone's email templates or grabbing someone's Facebook post templates or whatever. I think I even paid for some, which is like so cheesy. But it was this girl who I opened her emails. I read her emails. I thought she was really good at them. And so I bought her swipe, templates. And I was like, oh, this will make my emails so great. Guess what? When I hired my first one-on-one coach, I was having her review my stuff, right? It's like I do for my clients. Hey, my open rates are kind of low. I'd really like to fix that. So she said, okay, send me over like some of your emails and stuff. So I sent them over and she wrote back and she's like, not to be mean, but like, it looks like you just like copy this from someone else or using someone else's system or template. And like, it doesn't sound like you at all. And I was like, guilty. So I share that with you because you take their words, but then you add your spin to it. That's the next thing when you're writing content or creating a video or an article or a Facebook post, whatever it is, an Instagram post, doesn't matter. Take their words and add your spin to it. Somebody who is really, really great at this in my Facebook group is my beautiful client, Ashley Mondor. She has an amazing voice and way with words. So you can look for her posts in my group and see an example of creating magnetic messaging that makes you memorable. If you have seen her stuff before or you go look at it, you will be like, oh my gosh, yes, Ashley's so good at that. And part of our work together has been helping her to put it out there, right? Because she can write and it's really great. But then getting the next step, right, is being willing to put it out there and share yourself, which requires some vulnerability, right? A lot of times requires some support, and be consistent at it. And she's rocking it and getting clients by using her unique voice, combining what she knows that people need, which comes as second nature to her. That's why she's doing it. Hello, Zone of Genius. With the way that she speaks, right? So I have a friend who's visiting here who used to live across the street from me, and she's in town for a couple of days. She has a little girl just a few months older than Fee, and so we're having a ton of fun. And she was telling me how much, we miss each other a ton because we're really close. And she was telling me that like when she misses me, she picks up my book, because we have like opposite schedules. We don't get to talk that much with our schedules and our 2-year-olds. She's like, I pick up your book because I feel like I'm talking to you, right? And that was a very intentional choice to write this book, not in the way that I thought a business book was supposed to sound, but in a way that sounds like me, right? Because the book is how so many people get to know me first, and they need to know the real me, and they need to know the real you. I'm gonna check the comments here. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Candace. Melissa says, visibility. You're doing great. You're working on it. Yeah, it's always a growth process. And I think that's one of the things that sometimes we forget in business is that like we're continually working on ourselves. And no matter what level whether we're looking for our first client or our first $1,000 or our first 5K month or our first 10K month or whatever, our first 6-figure year. We're always working on ourselves. And that's part of the reason that we love being in business. And also sometimes we have a love-hate relationship with it, right? So we can choose to recognize, hey, yeah, I'm working on this thing. This is the next level for me. I'm continually working on myself too, right? It doesn't end. But it's a choice to go, yeah, that's part of the work, because starting and running a business is the best personal development you could ever do. And it makes you it incentivizes you so strongly to become the best version of yourself, right? So I think that those are some of the things that I want you to keep in mind. I want to let you ask what questions you have too in the comments about visibility, about creating this magnetic messaging while I recap. Here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to talk to people who are the kind of people you'd love to work with, or who are dealing with something that you can help with, whether it's you have a product that you can help them with, you have a service that you can help them with. I want you to reach out to them and say, hey, I really like you, and I would really love to hear from you a little bit about what's going on for you in your business or in your life or whatever, because I would love to help more women like you, right? This is not a sales call. I just want to chat because I just think a lot of you, right? So I'd love to hear if you all have one person that you can think of right now who you could do that with. Do you have at least one person who you could do that with? I'd love to challenge you to reach out to them today, like now, like on this live stream, like leave and go reach out to them and ask them. Have a 15 to 30-minute call where you take notes, furious notes on what they talk about around their struggles and their dreams as it relates to the thing that you are offering. And then I want you to turn that around into messaging. I want you to turn that around into teaching, messaging, into value. That's what value means: teaching, offering tips, offering stories, offering solutions, value-driven content. And that is how you start getting known and becoming memorable, right? It's the exact same thing at no matter what level you're doing it, whether it's a Facebook post that you feel like no one might ever see because you put it in a tiny Facebook group, or whether it's an Instagram post and you only have 2 followers, or whether it's an article that's going to get published somewhere, or whether it's a podcast appearance where you know thousands of people are going to listen, or whether you're on national TV. Doesn't matter. You're always using this strategy. It's just scaled, which is why it's so powerful. This is what I do every day. This is what I do when I record a podcast. This is what I do when I do a live stream, right? And that is the strategy that is going to help people remember you because they feel heard by you. Ooh, just got a leaf. They feel heard by you, okay? And that is what we want. That is how you create a relationship that produces sales and long-term relationship where you actually really get to help them transform with your service, with your thing. Melissa says, great advice. Get to know yourself and share yourself with your tribe. It's so true. It's so true. That's so much of the game, is doing that and showing up consistently, right? And so that is where I want you to dive in. If you're feeling like overwhelmed around how to be visible, which I know a lot of you are, if you're feeling overwhelmed about how to become memorable because you feel like a million other people are doing the same thing as you, which I know some of you do, right? That comparison thing. We want to move you from being a commodity who feels like she has to compete at the lowest price point to being the go-to person for your thing. The go-to person for your thing. Now, if you want my help with this and you want me to help you create the actual messaging, so that you know what to say and what to do, and you don't have to worry about like furiously scribbling it down. A half-day intensive with me could be a great fit for you. You and me for 3 hours together. We will go over your messaging. We will define your unique voice, and we will create exactly what you need to move forward for a visibility plan for the next 90 days and beyond. It really can be simple when you have somebody holding your hand and pulling those bits of gold out of you and for you, right? Helping you read the label when you're sitting in the jar. Half day clarity, confidence, and clients intensive with me. I record it on Zoom so that you can go back and listen to it and watch it and like use each part of it as you're ready and literally copy that messaging down and walk away with that clear plan, 90 days worth of work done in 3 hours. So that is where I want you to consider if you're feeling like you might want some support around this. But I want you to go out there, reach out. Beth says she's reaching out. Melissa says she's reaching out. I love it. Let me know how it goes. Come back, report. I'm going to go coach a client. Have a wonderful day.